How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today I want to talk to you about a new multi-billion dollar company, almost a $10 billion company that has Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Also a new company, multi-billion dollar company that's going to start accepting crypto payments here soon. I also want to give you updates on the Ukraine-Russia conflict, and we're seeing a lot of green today. So I want to talk about that, why that might be, what is doing really well. And if you guys don't mind, hit the like button and subscribe button. I appreciate that. There's also a link underneath the video to BlockFi. If you're outside the US, they will actually pay you interest on your crypto holdings. If you're inside the US, I still think it's a great app to use, and they are going to try to roll out a system where you can actually get interest as well. But I still really like it to buy and sell crypto. Also, they do have this sweet BlockFi credit card. It's one of the only two I use because it gives me Bitcoin back on every single purchase. You guys can check out the links underneath the video. One is to the credit card, one is to just their normal account. Now, the market's looking good today. The Nasdaq's looking good. We came back up. Russia and Ukraine are in talks right now about negotiating. They're in a ceasefire, so they are negotiating whether they can try to work this conflict out without more bloodshed. I think a lot of people are kind of waiting to see what happens there, but a lot of people see that this has led to a lot of uncertainty, and there's less of a chance that we're going to raise interest rates here in the US. Maybe we even start the bond repurchasing program, all this kind of stuff. And maybe the markets turn around a little bit because we've seen a lot of red recently. Now, Bitcoin's over 40,000. A lot of other cryptos are being pumped up too. And part of this is because of some of the news outside of just the Russia-Ukraine conflict, such as the fact that a $1.6 billion company confirms that they hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. This just came out. Now, this is pretty interesting because this company is actually worth a lot more than 1.6 million. I don't know where these numbers are coming from because I looked them up and they just raised some extra money. So they actually raised money at an $8 billion valuation. They just raised nearly $1 billion in Series E funding, and they actually have a ton of clients. So they have 112 countries that they work with and 10,000 clients, and they doubled their revenue last year. So they're using their data to analyze costs, container efficiencies, greenhouse gas emissions, etc. So it sounds like they're kind of a tech company that's approaching freight or trying to increase efficiency. They're based off California, and they actually have Bitcoin, the white paper, on their website. So they are sounding like they're pretty Bitcoin forward, and they're really interested in this as a company. Now, I don't know how much they actually hold, but more and more countries, more and more companies are adopting Bitcoin all the time. We've seen that with Ukraine, with them actually holding, they're the second largest country in the world that we know of that holds Bitcoin, maybe number one. There's some back and forth whether one of the countries that sees $200,000 or 200,000 Bitcoin, whether they're actually holding it or not. So Ukraine's one of the largest holders of Bitcoin. They're also accepting Bitcoin and other cryptos as payment. And we also have, Canadian truckers trying to get money in via Bitcoin because their accounts were frozen. There's a lot of stuff happening in crypto right now that is very bullish. Now, we also got some news here today that eBay may start accepting crypto as payment. So they didn't say exactly whether they're going to do this, but they did give a date of March 10 that they're going to make an announcement. And they said that they don't accept cryptocurrencies now, but they have had NFTs trading on their platform. So it sounds like they're kind of gearing up to say that they are going to start accepting cryptocurrencies. They're trying to be more focused on Gen Z and millennials too, so that might be another pro of trying to switch over to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and accepting that as payment, that more people come on the platform just to try it out and to show their support. And then we did get some news on how much crypto has actually been sent to Ukraine. They've received about 37 million in tracked crypto. Some of that is coming from the developers of Polkadot and VeChain, who have put in an additional 13 million on the table as well. So they are accepting crypto as payment. It's amazing in these war times that crypto is really saving a lot of people. And on the other hand, people in Russia are trying to get their hands on more of it. We saw the ruble go down significantly here today. I mean, just out of nowhere, essentially, it just collapsed. Almost 20%, and it's trading very far down from where it's been recently. I mean, just if we look at the 5-year here, it was around 0.177. Now it fell all the way down to 0.009, the conversion from rubles to USD. So it almost got cut in half over the last 5 years. And a lot of people are trying to get their money out of rubles with all this happening, with all the increasing sanctions. Now, I've talked about the sanctions over the last day, from certain banks getting kicked off the SWIFT system to countries pulling out investments in Russian companies. And there's a bank run. Right now, there are a lot of people lining up outside of Russian banks to get their money out because they don't want it. They are willing to literally buy other items like technology or gold or crypto or anything they can get their hands on instead of their own rubles. And Russia is trying to combat this by actually raising their key policy rate to 20% a day after announcing a slew of measures to support domestic markets. So they raised it from 9.5% to 20%. This is trying to counter risks of ruble depreciation and higher inflation. And they also ordered companies to sell 80% of their foreign currency revenues. So I don't think, if I was there, I would do that. I would try as much as possible to not sell off my foreign currency, because fact is, rubles are in a really tough place right now. So they are trying to get everyone to hold on to their rubles as much as possible, but you can see that people are flooding to Bitcoin. The Bitcoin ruble daily volume has increased significantly. I mean, we're talking about doubling here, actually from the highest day here, doubling, but also like 5-10xing from some of these other days, because people want to get a hold of Bitcoin because they can take it wherever they need to. It's not going to be inflated, and people are fleeing to crypto right now because they see the use case, they see what it can do, they see that their money isn't going to be inflated or it's not going to drop in value 20% in a day. Now, sometimes that does happen with crypto, but right now we're looking pretty bullish. Crypto has seemed to be a safe haven for a lot of people, whether it's Canadian truckers, Russians, Ukrainians, people trying to send money. No one's sending gold bars to the Ukraine, right? And you can't move gold bars very easily if you have a good amount of wealth. Also, you can take your money wherever you want with you. You can't do that necessarily if you have a bunch of money in the bank. You can't just go up to your bank and say, hey, I want my $100,000 out in cash. They don't hold that, and you need to have it shipped there a lot of the time. Now, of course, there's never a ton of certainty of the future, right? Russia could say F you, and we're just going to continue to invade, or we're going to declare all-out war today, and then everything could fall down, or they could drop a nuke or something like that. So just be careful, right? Don't go all in at any one time. In my opinion, I never think that's a good thing to do, but I have been dollar cost averaging into crypto. I did a video just a few days ago on what I was buying, and the couple cryptos that I've been buying have been doing pretty well. Like looking at the chart here, Bitcoin up to 41,000 essentially. It's up 4.1% on the 24-hour. Looks like some of these cryptos haven't really jumped up yet since Bitcoin started to move up. Everyone's kind of waiting to see if this continues, but Ethereum is up 1% on the day. BNB is up 2.6%. Terra has another big day, 9%. Now, I remember just a week or two ago, maybe it was a few weeks ago, I was buying around 50 or 51 or something like that. Now it's up 67% on the last week. We also have Solana up 7%, one of my biggest DCAs, or one of the ones I've been buying the most of the last few weeks. And a lot of other cryptos are up right now. So it's looking like a pretty good day overall. Hopefully we get good news out of Russia and Ukraine. But I want to cover this because there is a lot of big news, even some news that isn't tied to Russia and Ukraine. So I wanted to cover this. In case you guys want, there is that link underneath the video to BlockFi. And I will see you in the next video. Let me know what you think about all this. Bye.